Hey,
Welcome to the Christmas. What did you call it?
Bonanza? Is
The
that what I call it?
Christmas Bonanza with Lucy and Annabel.
Jingle bells,
Jingle bells,
jingle
jingle
all the
all the way.
way.
Oh, what fun it
No,
is to ride.
you did it so nice.
You were like low riding. You were like
I know.
making it all
It's because my
dirty.
voice is scratchy. My voice is scratchy, so I'm just like, nah. Just in this like cold, drafty old house now, so I'm just fucking cold all the
Huge
time.
mansions.
My mum will
follow the house of Usher over there.
No, it's not a huge mansion, but it's just like my mum walks into my room and she's like, "Oh, it feels warm in here," and I'm like, "Eh? What? No, it does not. It feels fucking cold." They're just used to it.
I know.
It's
It's the same here.
awful.
I've got
It's
like
awful.
18 layers on. Happy
Yes.
holidays. Merry Christmas.
You're so cute.
Give everybody something
So
to do on Boxing Day. Listen to our new episode.
exactly. It's
When you're all sick of your families.
I know. You need an hour of peace. I don't know why you would listen to us if you wanted an hour of peace, but go off. Gonna go straight in with our news.
With our news. Okay. Oh, wow. Jeez.
It's not world news.
It's not important news. It's
Lucy and Annabel news.
Holiday edition.
That was going to be really bad this week because the internet connection's so shit where I am.
So bad.
So it's gonna
Annabelle's
be like,
about 3 seconds behind me when she's talking.
So apologies.
What do you got for us, Annabelle Christmas Tree Jones?
That's so cute. Okay, my news is actually kind of a little bit Lucy Walshish today. I'm just trying to stay somewhere in the realm of Walshish. So try and stay somewhere in the realm of like Christmas things. So my news today is about a Lego loving Cambridge couple show off 21-foot long replica of Old London Bridge in their living room after working on it for 4 weeks, sometimes putting in 14 hours a day. A couple of Lego aficionados have now completed a 21-foot long old London Bridge, working on it for 4 weeks, sometimes putting in 14 hours a day. The stunning creation, their 27th project, sits proudly in the sitting room of Mike Addis, 63, and Catherine Waitman, 58, from Huntington, Cambridgeshire. The replica of the bridge, which crossed over the Thames from 1209 to 1831, was made using 400,000 Lego bricks and stands at 3 foot high.
Oh my God. I want to know
This is even boring me. Wow.
I'm not bored. I think it's riveting. How much did that cost them?
I don't know. Let's see.
Like 20 grand?
The recreation of the bridge also includes 78 houses, 500 minifigures, a castle, and a chapel. The features also include guards patrolling the pay toll of the bridge and bakers and residents.
Oh my God.
They only could do 3/4 of the bridge because the full size wouldn't fit in their house. Oh, look at this. There's a turkey roasting on a fire.
Made out of Legos?
The model was inspired by frost fairs, which were held when the Thames froze over from the 16th century. Miss Addis, an economics teacher, said, "It's probably our most impractical model because it goes right through the center of the room, splits the room in two. There's a foot gap at one end and the other to get around when you need to get to the other side of the living room. We had a party recently with people on one side of the bridge and some on the other. Most people are in awe because it's so big." That's what she said. Wow, these people are really, really into Lego.
How bad would you feel if you were a guest at their party and you got drunk and you fell on the bridge and broke it?
Oh my God. I feel terrible. Actually, at the end of the article here, I know how long it took them. Is that what you're going to say?
No, I was going to say, how long are they going to leave it up?
I know, I'm wondering the same. Doesn't say anything like that. I want to know how much it costs. I want to know how long it took them.
Yeah,
we know that.
answers.
I want to know how long they're going to keep it up.
Let's get them on the podcast.
I want to know when they take it down, do they feel like emotional? Get them on the podcast. I want to hear about what these frost fairs were, which you mentioned. Frost fairs on the River Thames happened when the water froze over and stayed iced over for up to 2 months. In a tradition thought to have begun in the 1600s, Londoners sometimes used this as a festive opportunity to enjoy the often harsh winters, with shops selling fruits and roasted meats, pubs, ice skating rinks, and even football pitches. So thick was the ice that by January, some of the shopkeepers could make fires in their tents to warm up. Between 1607 and 1814, there were 7 major fairs, and it's thought there would have been many in between. The climate had started to warm too much to keep the fairs going by the end of the 1800s, but the frozen river had seen a number of festivities come and go. Some records say that one year they had even been parading an elephant. So there you go, mates.
Wow.
We even had a bit of global warming in the old 1800s, from 1600 to 1800. Global warming was happening even then. Can you imagine?
Frost fair.
A frost fair, that is such a nice combination.
Such a nice name. I know, I love those words. Have you ever been on a frozen lake or stream, river, whatever? Me neither.
I've walked on, we have a pond here and it got icy, and I would walk on that sometimes as a child because I knew it wasn't deep, so I wasn't like going to drown. But I would love to like skate on a frozen lake. That would be thrilling.
I think I'd be scared. Haven't you people ever seen Little Women?
No, I actually haven't. It's too sad for me.
Well, she falls through the ice, okay? So.
And does she die?
No.
She doesn't.
No, but it still sucks. No, she doesn't die.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, no.
Okay, Lucy, what news have you got?
Okay, well, my news, everyone. This news headline says, a haunting surprise. Ghost hunter Yvette Fielding is left open-mouthed as her rarely seen musician son returns home from LA to surprise her. Our very own Will and me made it into the sun. Can you believe it?
And then you made it into Lucy and Annabel news, which is like even more thrilling.
I know. So it goes on to say, Yvette Fielding was left stunned as her musician son Will returned home from Los Angeles. The most haunted presenter was so surprised by his return that she stood open-mouthed in her kitchen. And there's a picture of her and his grandma standing there, agape. Agape? Is that a word?
I'm glad that we can share the video now.
Yeah, we can share the video, which I took. It's my expert camera work. Thank you very much. Taking to Instagram to capture the moment,
to credit.
The 28-year-old filmed himself stealthily opening the door to his mom's Tudor home in Cheshire. Trying to be as quiet as possible, he walked into her kitchen where she and his grandmother were sitting. As the shock wore off, Will rushed in for a sweet cuddle, not having seen them in a year. And he said on his Instagram that he had done this to surprise his mom for Christmas. And after sharing the clip, he was inundated with messages from fans revealing that they were in tears over this reunion. One said, "Oh, it brought a tear to my eye." One said, "Hope you packed a jumper, Will." One said, "Oh, this is the sweetest video I've ever seen, blah, blah, blah." And then with no segue, it just starts talking about me and says, Will met Lucy Walsh, daughter of Eagles lead guitarist Joe Walsh, blah, 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 through Yvette's husband, Carl, director and producer of Most Haunted. And it goes on to talk about Will and I's relationship, yada, yada, yada. And it says, Lucy is a singer and an actress, having starred opposite Julia Roberts in the film Mother's Day. So that is our news article for this week from The Sun UK.
I can't believe that you are the news this week, you and
I
Will.
know. I love it. I couldn't resist.
So I've got questions.
Okay.
Did the Sun just pick this up, or did somebody's publicist deliver it to them? Like, how does this happen? How do we get how do we get the video from the kitchen and then tell us how it makes its way to the Sun, and then how they know all of those information? Do they call the house phone? Do they send an email? Like, how do they get all that information? Do they find it on Instagram?
Well, I'm not really sure that anybody's publicist would go to the Sun to try to get in the Sun because it's a tabloid.
I know it's
So,
weird. Yeah, that would be a strange move.
yeah, they just picked up on it out of nowhere. They didn't call the house or anything.
So
They
how do they get those questions? So they just like create a story, because it very much sounds like, from what you just read, that they like talked to you. And I think this is fascinating because it's what we talk about all the time, which is the media and how they can make a narrative and all of those things. So
Yeah.
if I read that, I would be like, oh, they talked to them.
Right. Yeah, it does sound like it's front row,
So
doesn't it? Like they're
much.
insiders. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
what they
So how do
did,
you, is that just, have they gleaned stuff from Instagram?
yeah, they took everything from Instagram, and
Wow.
then they took the bit about our relationship they took from a previous interview that Yvette had done with the Sunday Post.
Wow.
And they used that for the bit about our relationship. And then I just guess they would have just researched me and found out my acting credits and put one of them in there. But they really do piece it together to make it sound like they were right there and that they spoke to you. Will and his family have had a lot of trouble with the Sun in the past, as many celebrities have, because they've really like caused a lot of problems. So this was interesting. They were like, oh, okay. And they didn't even, I saw it because
a nice article. Yeah.
I get alerts if my name is mentioned in the news.
Okay.
I don't know if you do that.
No.
So I got this and I was like, whoa, what? So I went and told them, and they had no idea. But yeah, it does sound like they are insiders for sure. The media is a strange,
It really
strange
does.
animal.
So how do you get alerts when you're in the news?
So in Google, you can arrange to be alerted for anything you want. You could type in Brad Pitt news. You want to be alerted every time there's a Brad Pitt news article, or you want to be alerted every time there's an article on bulldogs or whatever. Any keyword you want, you can just go into your settings. So I've just had myself for a while just so that I know if anything's going on.
God, that is so fascinating. That is so fascinating that they picked that up, and that the way they craft the article and all of that stuff. I think it's really interesting for people to hear that, because I think a lot of people would think like, oh yeah, they talked to them. They must have called them after they saw the video to get the information. But it's like, no, they did not. They just pieced stuff together to make it sound like, one thing. And then imagine all of the articles. Now I'm thinking about all the articles I've ever read that sound like that.
Yeah.
And thinking like, damn, like those people probably never said that, or said it fucking 15 years ago and something.
Exactly.
Crazy.
I know.
Crazy.
Really
that's so
trippy to watch. Well, you and I have always had
it's nice that they publish something. It's nice they publish something like really cute and sweet instead of just like,
it was uplifting rotten. And it was very nice. So thank you for that, Sun. But you and I have always had that experience, I feel, growing up in very famous families where we have seen what it's really like on the inside, and then we've seen the outer persona and what the media does with it. And it's always been very confusing for me to know what to do with it all. Like, I feel like I have this insider's view into what it's really like, but I can't talk about it because you're like protecting your family, And I just always really keep my mouth shut about personal stuff about people because I've had to protect my family for so long. Have you felt
Mm-hmm.
that in
Yeah.
your family? Have you felt protective of your dad and protective of like what really goes on as compared to what they make it seem like in the media?
I mean, yeah, I definitely do to an extent. But I also am big on like, I don't know, like I just want to keep it as real as possible. I don't want to like air out anyone's dirty laundry,
Mhm.
but I also don't want to like play pretend. So I'm always kind of walking that line between those two things. I think when my dad died, I really wanted to protect him and I kind of rushed to that instinct early on. And then as time went by, I felt like I was being like quite inauthentic about things sometimes, and um for what reason,
Yeah, I have the
so
same
what if people
struggle.
know a couple of things about my dad that aren't um necessarily like sunshine and roses? And I think now I very much have the feeling that, you know, I would want the people in my life to remember me honestly and share memories of me honestly, because I would want authenticity. Do you know what I mean? Even in life, in
Mhm.
death, you know, the good and the bad, the dark and the light. That's the whole story. That's the whole picture. That's the whole person. And there is something that feels like slightly dishonorable to lie. I mean, obviously, I'm not going to give every
To
sordid detail,
sugarcoat
nor
it.
would I do that. No, yeah, exactly. To sugarcoat it maybe is more the thing. Is like I'm not going to give every sort of detail. Maybe I just would rather refrain from saying anything about certain things. But if someone's going to ask me a real question about something, I'll probably answer it. And then, you and I have talked about this a lot in the past. It's like I can't. How do you have a real conversation if you're constantly withholding things? And my experience in my life has been affected by my dad. Therefore, I am not having my experience if I'm constantly trying to protect my dad and make him look like some kind of
Yeah.
angel. How do I then have an authentic experience myself?
Yeah.
And I am not willing to sacrifice myself for my dad. I'm sorry, I'm just not.
Mhm.
I'm not going to string him out, but I'm not going to sacrifice myself and my experience and my wholeness and my truth to protect him.
Yeah. Yeah,
It's kind of how I feel. It's tricky
yeah,
though.
it's very tricky and it's a really unique position that you and I are both in. And I feel the exact same way. I'm learning to do that. I am at the kind of beginning of that road with putting myself first and not being willing to
Good. Yeah.
sacrifice myself to protect those around me. But that comes just from a lifetime of being in the habit of doing that. And now as an
Yeah.
adult,
Totally.
yeah, exactly. You don't want to like pick anybody apart, but at the same time, your truth is valid and deserves to be voiced.
Mm-hmm.
And
Mm-hmm.
sometimes you can't protect
Yeah.
people from how it really is.
No. Exactly. And nor should you have to, or
A lot of times I have to
be
hold back
expected
from
to.
what I really think, and that is hard, but I guess that's why you have a therapist maybe and good friends to talk about it with. But like
Yeah. Yeah.
the other day,
Yeah.
my dad posted something for Vets Aid, which he does every year, sitting in
Okay.
between his wife and her son, who is older than me. And
Mm-hmm.
he's sitting there and he says, hi everybody. This is my son and this is my wife. And blah, blah, blah goes on to talk.
Mm-hmm.
And every time I see him do that, it's really difficult for me because he has two sons and a daughter,
Yeah.
but he doesn't talk about us. We are invisible. And this other boy is his son in the public eye. And I've been in several situations where I've been in a room with them and I'll say, hi, I'm Joe's daughter or whatever in like a public setting. And the person will go, oh my God, I thought Joe only had the son, which is this guy. And I will have to gently say,
oh, that's so painful.
no, Joe has 3 children, 2 boys and me. My initial reaction is to make a comment or try to defend my brothers somehow.
Mm-hmm.
And then I saw in the comments some fans said, wow, Joe looks exactly like his son Alden, who's my brother, my real brother. And I liked that comment. And I said, he really does, doesn't he? I said, he looks exactly like both of his sons, Alden and Emerson. And that's all I said. But it took everything in my power not to say something like, I'm happy to see somebody talking about his real children. And I'm faced with those situations all the time. And I have to choose between speaking up about the truth of the situation or it kind of being the bigger person, being more gracious, having more class than that, and just keeping my mouth shut when I don't want to. But and then that becomes confusing. And that's what you're describing as well. Like, where do you draw the line of speaking up for what you know is right and where you see this situation that's not right? But you can't go there because you're opening such a big, I mean, and I'm not catty like that. I don't want to make bitchy comments on a public forum. That's not how I need to handle the truth in my family. But at the same time, you're tempted with it all the time because you just think, how long am I going to sacrifice my truth to placate to this insane situation? It's a wild experience. It's just not easy. It's really tricky.
Sounds so painful. That just sounds like really painful.
It really is. My heart breaks for my brothers. I feel like a mama bear.
I mean, my heart breaks like for all of you. It's so awful. And listen, I think you and I have privately had conversations about things with your dad and why he does the things that he does. And I honestly think it's too painful for him to allow himself to love you guys fully. I really do, because of his experiences in the past and losing his first child. I really believe that. And having had, not to compare my experience with your dad's experience, they're two very different experiences, but losing a child and losing a partner are very big ones. And that feeling of like, I can never feel this pain again is very, very real. And I just did not think about it, or I wouldn't be able to spend time with Alec. I wouldn't be able to imagine a future. I wouldn't be able to imagine anything. And I think somebody with the issues that your dad's had with his addiction and stuff, he clearly is somebody that struggles to manage his pain. Therefore, I think there are just some things that are just easier to just like switch off. And my dad did the same thing with us. He wanted to be with us so badly, but he didn't know how. So he would go and like, he had this house in Pennsylvania, right? And he would decorate it for Christmas and Halloween every year, like there were kids coming home, which is really, sorry, this conversation is really emotional.
Okay, I know. Yeah,
I'm getting emotional for you, to be honest. Mostly, I hate what's happened, and I just feel so much for you. But the thought, I don't think about it much because it's like so crazy, but also painful to me to think about my dad like decorating the house as if like there were kids there. And he just come home anytime. Like my mum invited him for Christmas every year, but he just wouldn't let himself. And I think that that is what is wrong with you. I think that's what has happened to your dad. I think it's so painful for him that he's just like, I can't. And it's not to say that he doesn't love his stepson, but it's different. I mean, I don't know. It's just such a big subject. And
Yeah, it really is.
I'm just sorry that's your experience. And I agree that walking the line between protecting them but protecting yourself, and then that feeling of like, you didn't fucking protect me, so why the fuck should I protect you?
That's right.
And then going, I don't want to be that person because I'm better than that.
Yeah.
That's why. It's so confusing every day, and it's a part of this life that you and I both have, and this journey that we're on as the children of these men, that I think most people don't obviously know about. How could they, or speak about, or even understand, is that constant sort of sacrifice that as the child of this person you have to make every day. I gave my dad away to all of the fans a long time ago, and his persona and his job, and to make it easier for him to just do that instead of being the one begging for him to come home or begging for him to be a dad. You know, it's like, and that's something that I think, I'm sure, is very real for a lot of us who have dads or mums in this position. And also, you know, maybe it's a little different for us with the addict stuff. That's a whole other layer of like fucking mentalness that's adds into the pot to make it even more layered and twisty. But yeah, it's just a part of this role that is really like undesirable.
Yeah, it's very, very challenging, and there's a lot of heartbreak in it.
Yeah, like every day.
Yeah, every day. And it's figuring out how to be the best version of yourself through that. Do what is really in your heart, which, like you're saying, you haven't protected me, why should I protect you? But protecting you is who I am, so I'm not going to stop that, even though you might not get it back. Yeah, your thoughts are really great on it. As with everything we talk about, it's not so literal, but everybody can relate in some way to a parent who is not, their emotional capacity is not where, not at the level of what you might have needed as a vulnerable child.
Yeah,
and having
or
to
even as an adult child,
as an adult child now,
and
having to grow into making your own choice about how you're going to handle it now moving forward. Also, I think addiction in the family with a parent is pretty common as well in some form.
Yeah, very, very, very common.
Yeah, it's a big one. So I didn't mean to even share all that, but the family article in the tabloid kind of brought us there naturally.
Yeah, definitely.
That was a difficult one for me to handle the other day when I saw that in the public eye. But you know, that's just a chip off the old iceberg. There have been thousands of situations like that for me, where I am faced with a choice. It's a delicate dance. So today is the Christmas Bonanza.
Oh my God. I know, but like holidays does make family stuff like so intense, you know, and you and I are both experiencing that in other ways right now. And then part of the holidays is like, since I was a little girl, I would think of my dad and wonder where he was and why wasn't he with us. And you know,
did you ever spend a Christmas with your dad?
I mean, I've got one picture with me and my dad at Christmas. I think when I was really young we did, but never as an adult did I spend, or even as like a young child. I think I've got a picture of me with him at Christmas when I was like maybe 3 or something, but Christmas and birthdays, yeah, he was never around. And I think when you do have a missing parent, whether they're dead or just absent, or even if they're there but they're not really there, whether that's because they are cold or have their own issues or are addicts or whatever, checked out or have depression or whatever it is, that's a loss in itself. And I think the holidays can really, really like highlight all of that, because obviously it's this very focused thing where like who's sitting at the table, who's around the tree, who am I hearing from? And any time where that is going to be happening, it's going to highlight like who isn't there, what voices aren't being heard, what phone call didn't come through. And it's a lot for people. Christmas is magical and it's lovely and we love it. And the holidays, for those that don't necessarily do Christmas, but it is very spicy and layered.
Yeah, I think what you just described is what you've described in other episodes, which is that scanning thing. You're scanning the situation to see who is showing up, what is happening, and then also what is lacking, what is missing, who's not there, who's distant, who's there's, you're just taking inventory of everything, aren't you?
Yeah.
And
yeah, exactly.
Yeah, and we all go through it in some way. I just heard from my sister in LA who was just sharing her joys and sadnesses about how it is this year. She was saying how she's depressed, really. I'm in England.
Yeah.
Our brother has COVID right now, so he's not going to be able to show up. And my parents my stepdad and mom are divorced, so they don't get together. And my sister's sitting in the middle of all those broken pieces around her, just feeling like, what's the point? And I think a lot of people feel like that. You try to make the best of it, but it makes me emotional for people, because everybody's trying to get through it with as much joy as possible. But how do you do that when there's so many fragmented pieces around you?
Yeah.
And that was one of our questions. We've got some really, believe it or not, there is a lot of fun and joy in this episode coming to you. But one of the questions that people had one of our listeners was, can you talk about grief at the holidays?
Yeah.
And this is all part of grief. Like we've said before, a traumatic thing does not have to be that you got hit by a car when you were little. A trauma can take, it could have been today. We have adult traumas all the time, and they don't have to be huge life-changing events. My sister's sitting there with these fragmented pieces and feeling tearful about that is traumatic.
Yeah.
And that is grief. And
I think there's a lot of trauma right now, to be honest with you, with everything that's going on in the world. And for the first time now, during the whole pandemic, I am feeling just like I've got like pandemic fatigue finally. I've been so distracted with so many other things for so long that it's the first time I've just been like, I can't fucking take this anymore. Like, this is so painful for everyone. Everyone is so scared. Everyone is so traumatized. And I can't do this anymore. And even that alone, for everyone, take out the fact that people have lost people. Take out all of the, like you said, everyday traumas and everyday difficulties that we all have. That alone is so big. And we're humans are so good at adapting and just getting on with things.
I know.
But, it's like we are in the midst of something like so big and heavy and painful. Like, don't underestimate that when you're feeling aggravated by other things and feeling pain about other things. I was saying to you before we started recording, like, I've got multiple anxieties right now and everything is feeling so
in your face,
heightened and in my face. And it is the first time that I've come to this place with the pandemic where I'm just like, I can't do this anymore, because everyone around me is getting ill, and it's Christmas time, and old people and young people and babies, and I'm just like, you know, and it makes everything else feel totally unmanageable
Yeah,
sometimes.
it does.
Even the most tiniest inconvenience, like stubbing your toe, can just be like, why God?
Well, that happened to Will. That happened to Will a few days ago. He just had an absolute meltdown in the kitchen, and it was about the smallest thing, but he just yelled for a half hour about how he can't take this anymore. And I
Yeah, the
understood. I
tension.
understood. Yeah. We can't handle it indefinitely. We just can't. I don't know what the answer
I'm gonna
is,
go
but
fucking crazy.
I know. It's a lot. And
But this is another thing that feels very griefy around the holidays, especially right now, is because it's like, it's not just grieving the loss of like actual people, it's like grieving our way of life, grieving our traditions, grieving the fabric of our society, which is now tattered and shredded. And we're all just trying to piece it back together, and then we get knocked down again, and then, you know, it's like, I do believe that we will, of course, so we're going to survive it, and we'll be fine, we're going to put the piece back together, and we'll get through it as a planet, like we do. But don't underestimate the underlying harm of it, which accelerates every other fucking inconvenience or anything that comes your way. I think is something that I'm trying to make myself understand in the last 24 hours, of just like, are you annoyed about this, or are you just completely at your wit's end with everything else?
Having a lot of patience for ourselves and a lot of mercy for ourselves, and letting ourselves off the hook now more than ever. You just have to be kind to yourself and know that you are stretched to your limit. And oh man, well,
and I think regular, like, as far as like a death grief goes around the holidays, I think the same rules apply. Is like, it is being really, really gentle with yourself. And, you know, one of the things that we had discussed that I did at Thanksgiving holiday in America, Thanksgiving is, you know, for me, always going to be the day that Ryan and Max died. Even though the day and the day will change every year, I can't associate it with anything else. Like, I don't have a lot of kind of things from that day. You know how something like smells and certain colors or things will remind people of a traumatizing day? I don't really have a lot of things like that in my life, but like stovetop stuffing for me now is just
a no-go.
Death day. Yeah, it's like the day that, it's like I'll always associate it with that.
Because you had gone, you and Max and Ryan were going to throw a Thanksgiving party at your house that day. And you had gone grocery shopping with Max the day before he died. So would you say that there are things that you purchased that day that you now can't eat?
Well, for a long time there was, like, that night I made them spaghetti with pesto and veggies, and we had wine, and we sat around the dinner table and we talked. And I couldn't stomach pesto for a long time.
Totally understandable.
The stovetop stuffing was something I ate the next day.
That's why I'm interested. Was that something you bought with Max?
It was, so Max and I went and did the grocery shopping that night, the night that they died. Basically, we had gone that evening and done the grocery shopping, and we didn't take his car. Well, we took his car, and when we were at the grocery store, we realized there was something wrong with it, and it was smoking. And that's why that night they went out in Ryan's car. And so anyway, we went and got all of that stuff, and there was stuff that I couldn't throw away. Like, there was stuff that was in the fridge for a really, really long time that, like, I just couldn't throw away. And then there was stuff that I couldn't stomach. And the next day, my sister Sarah came, and, you know, to take care of me and be there. And she made the Thanksgiving dinner that we had bought, because all of my friends came over so we could all be together still. And because we weren't going to be with our families because of COVID, blah, blah, blah. And And the only thing I remember is like pushing the stovetop stuffing on my plate and just being like, bleh, like I just can't. And then there was another box of it in the cupboard for like months and months and months. And then when I saw it on the shelves again this year, I was just like, no, like no. And I think that like the physical loss, like the death of a loved one, can bring up all that kind of thing. And it's like, just don't get it, don't buy it anymore, don't have it in your house, ask people not to bring over. There's coping mechanisms for stuff like that, you know, like there's other types of stuffing I can eat, and that's fine.
Right. You don't have to be tortured by
stuffing
right
the rest of my life. But you know, that holiday is very much always going to be that for me. And what I did to cope that day was carve out a time in the morning with the family where we all went to the beach. We did a shot of mezcal. We laid some of Ryan's ashes on the beach, and we took the time to grieve that morning, and we very much structured it into our day so that we could have that time and move on. And after doing that, I'm so glad I did it. And I massively recommend anyone
great idea
has got a loss this year to really plan it into the day and almost have like an organized grieving session. It's not to say that you're not going to have pain throughout the day. It's not to say that that it's going to be magically gone for the rest of the day. But if you know in the morning you have your little session where you like have a cry, get it all out, share memories, cheers to them, do whatever you want to do, have a little like vigil almost, it really does clear the decks for the rest of the day. So grief around the holidays, that would be my like massive top tip for that, to be honest.
That's a really great idea. You know what reminds me of Max? Because when I was at your house after they died, you and I were eating some dates, and you said, oh, these are Max's. Max bought these at the store. And that it's the strangest little things that get burned into our psyches, isn't it? And so so every time I eat dates now, I will forevermore think of Max, because it was a strange feeling to be eating the food that he had purchased right before he went. And that's what our brain does that with death. Our brain will latch on to the littlest thing and just obsess over it for years.
Max was trying to teach me to like wine and red wine, and it's
how
become
excited
such a part of my life now.
Remember how excited he got about the wines he wanted us to try? And what was that orange one he had me try?
Oh yeah, he bought that orange wine from the organic wine place in Silver Lake. Like wine was a huge passion for him, like a massive passion. And I remember the first time I like drank red wine was at his house in Chicago, and I was trying so much to like it, but I just like wasn't a wine person. And he loved really like stinky red wines, like barnyardy wines. And now I'm obsessed with them. Like and it's one of the ways in which I'll always think of Max when I'm drinking red wine. The stinkier, the better. I love it. I can't get enough of it. Like, and it's a way that I continue to like honor him. And it's interesting, those things. So maybe having a favorite food of the person. You know, I found that to be really positive, and I find the wine to be really positive, because it is a way, it's like I'm cheersing to him every time. And maybe having some of their favorite foods around might be like a really nice thing to do.
It's a connection with them. And you know what? I have to say, I've had a fascinating week here. I went to a Most Haunted event, a live event with Yvette and Carl, and I got to witness some incredible paranormal activity. But something that Yvette and she's reminding me over and over and over again, because I've been grieving just certain people, you know, at the holidays, as you do. I'm still grieving my cat. I'm grieving my grandfather, I'm grieving Max and Ryan, a lot of things. And she really reminded me this week, they cannot stand it when you're sad. They want to see you celebrating and laughing about them and doing the things that they loved and living for them. So what you're saying about the food is really important. They want you to enjoy all that food. They are right there with you, delighting in you enjoying it. And instead of letting it torture us for years to come, why not embrace it and turn it into a celebration of them and a connection to them? Because when you are enjoying that food or that wine that they loved so much, you are actually connecting with them.
Yeah, I really feel that massively. Yeah, I love that. Thank you for saying that. I think it's a really good reminder for all of us, to be honest with you.
It really is.
Okay, so we got loads of you asking for happy or sad memories from Christmas past. Let's do some happy ones, because we've been miserable fucking bitches this whole session. We've literally been like, Christmas Bonanza. We're just like,
we're both crying. Oh my God, embarrassing. Okay, yes.
Do you have any prepared?
Christmas Bonanza question number 1. What are some happy or sad memories from Christmases past? My mind goes directly to an abysmal, horrible Christmas memory. So I'm going to take a minute and try to think of a good one.
Well, tell us, wait, is it like traumatizing?
No.
Okay.
Well, I mean, I have so much to say about my childhood Christmases. They were just absolute magic in every way. I could talk about them for days, and I'm sure you could too. But one really not so great Christmas was my family all went out to eat Christmas dinner at a place in Malibu called Coogie's that's not there anymore. We lived right on top of Mulholland, which is like the road at the very top of the mountain range that's just above Malibu for everybody who's not from California. And so we would drive down into Malibu. It took about 20 minutes. And so we had Christmas Eve dinner there, and we all went home, and everyone got food poisoning.
No.
Except for me. I didn't. I don't know why. I have a stomach of steel. I am. Yeah. But everybody else, my brother, my sister, my mom, my stepdad, everyone got food poisoning, and our whole Christmas was ruined.
Oh no.
Everyone woke up at like 2 a.m. and was just deathly ill for like 2 days. It was horrible.
Can you imagine how many people's Christmases were ruined by that fucking restaurant?
I know, right? Yeah. But if you think about it, it's kind of similar to what's happening this year with damn COVID. So it's not that far
100%.
Yeah.
100%.
What about you?
I know
anything that's
a lot of people who will not be with their families this Christmas.
I know.
Okay, so
anything for you?
I honestly can't remember, obviously, other than last Christmas, which was a complete, like,
total wash,
head fuck, like completely bizarre. I've said a million times, I felt like I was shrooming, because the grief has such a physical effect on you that like all of the lights were like woo, woo, woo. So when I would go on my walks and all the Christmas lights were everywhere, I was just like, what's happening? This is mental. And like when like I would hear Christmas music, it sounded like demented, because it was such a polar opposite feeling. It was like holly jolly happiness, and the way I was feeling inside was so bleak that it sounded like, you know, in like horror movies when they put like funhouse music in the background, it like had that effect on me, where I was just like, I was like hallucinating. The whole thing was so bizarre, to be feeling so terrible while during this period that's meant to be so joyful was just like a massive head fuck. But I've really been lucky in that I haven't had like any terrible Christmases like that. But I would say probably two Christmas memories are like very interesting to me. Is one, there was this one Christmas we came downstairs in the morning, and my mom had bought us like so many presents, it was like obscene. and it was like obscene. It was awful, but great. And I think also it looked like that because everyone was coming to ours for Christmas, so everyone's gifts were under the tree. But I walked down and I was just like, fucking hell. Like, and the paper was Christmas. It was hot pink Christmas Disney princesses. So I was just like, my mind was just like, wow, incredible.
How old were you? 25?
So, no, I was I must have been really young, like maybe like 6 or 7. So that's a really good memory. And then the other really good memory I have of Christmas is like probably the best Christmas of my life was actually a Christmas that Ryan and I spent together because I couldn't come home, and we just had like, we went to Chicago and we just had the most, I don't know why it was so magical, but just it felt like magic. It was around every corner. Everything we did was just joyful and happy and perfect. I'd never been in the Midwest and had Christmas before, so I was just like, it was all new to me. And I remember the Christmas before that, he flew me out, like when we had just started dating. He's like, my Christmas present to you is I want to fly you out to Chicago and come and spend New Year's with me. And I remember we went into the city on the train after I got in, and I had a hot chocolate in my hand, which we'd got because I was like not prepared for that level of cold. I'd never been in Chicago before, and it is, for anyone that hasn't experienced it, it's like cold isn't even the word for it. It's not cold. It's more than cold. And I remember stepping out of the cafe with my hot chocolate in my hand and looking up at all of the old Chicago buildings, and snow was just coming down. And I felt like so in love, and I felt so happy. And Chicago goes all out for Christmas. They decorate every lamppost, every flower bed, they do it so amazingly. And I just felt like this isn't real. Like, this can't be real. And I just felt so happy. And like, I remember just looking at Ryan and just being like, you are my like Prince Charming. Like, I've just never felt like this before. And the snow was coming down, and it was just, I'll just never forget that moment of looking up and just, yeah, it was just big snowflakes, like,
yeah,
it was just beautiful.
Aren't those moments in life so priceless? Again, they don't have to be huge life-changing events. It could be the smallest thing, but you'll always remember that. What a gift.
Yeah, I'll never forget that feeling ever. I can, like, it's one of those memories that you have, and it's like you can relive it again and again, like almost in real time, because it just feels so real.
Perfect. Yeah, I had one of those yesterday. Will
did
and
you?
I did. Will and I went, we had a date day, and we went to a place that we love called Tatton Park. It's a huge mansion on a lot of land. And we spent the day there. We went to the little farm store, and we were leaving, and it was so foggy yesterday. You couldn't see 20 feet in front of you. And we were driving back through the parkland, and the fog was so thick, and it was almost dark, because it gets dark at like 4 here in England right now, as you know. And out of nowhere came this herd of about 100 deer, males with their big antlers, tons of females, all around the car. And we stopped the car and we got out, and we must have stood for 20 minutes in silence while they grazed all around us in this thick fog. And it was such magic. And I just kept saying, thank you, thank you, thank you for this. It's something you'll remember always. And
yeah, you probably will. That's beautiful. That's beautiful. What is your Christmas Day plan like at the family home? Like, what's the rundown? Do you know?
Yes, well, all I know is that it's completely opposite to what I grew up with. So I'm just up for the adventure this year. I'm going along with what everybody's doing. I'm just not going to say anything. I just want to be a part of the experience. And
Oh, that's
and
so nice.
along for the ride and not have to do it the way that I'm used to and the traditions that my
Yeah.
family has,
Yeah. That's so nice that you feel that way. I love that.
I'm
Um,
excited. What will yours be?
good. We do. My mum is like so rigid at Christmas. It's like mental. Like it has to be. It's like not Christmas unless it's like the way she does it. But
That's how
we
my
wake
mom is.
up. I know. We wake up. We do kids stockings, but there's no kids anymore. So,
Yeah.
but this year I went and got stocking stuff for everyone. So everyone's gonna have a stocking.
Amazing. That's
Yeah.
great.
So Santa's coming this year, and everyone's gonna have a stocking. And then we do that. Then we have some brekkie. Then we open presents. Then everyone kind of goes off and does their own thing for a bit, and then we'll come back around like 3 o'clock to
Yeah.
start cooking dinner. And then we have like a massive dinner, and then we just like lie on the couch and digest and drink wine and probably watch a film.
Great.
Is the vibe. So as long as none of us get COVID
Yeah.
and have to
No
be
COVID, no food poisoning. We'll all be good. I have a question for you.
Mm-hmm.
What is your favorite Christmas present that you've ever given someone?
Oh, fuck. That is an amazing question.
I love that question.
Okay, one that stands out in my mind is my mum wanted a scooter, not like a Vespa, like a push scooter. This wasn't even that long ago.
What?
And where we live, I know it's
Wait,
really
stop.
weird. It's
Wait, you can't just brush past that. What do you
I know she's
mean?
so weird. My mum's so weird. She thought she was gonna go like scooting around the lanes.
Like where she'd have to put her leg down and
Yeah, like a
scoot
push scooter.
herself?
Yeah, like a push scooter. And around here it's like bumpy and muddy and all this stuff. Like you can't just have like a regular scooter, like a razor with small wheels. So I had to get her this like big wheeled off-roading scooter. And I
No.
thought, fuck it, I'm just gonna do it. Wheeled it in like a kid, like you know when kids get like a bike and you like wrap it in the shape
Yes.
of the thing. So I like wrapped it in the shape that it was and wheeled it in. That bitch didn't even use that scooter one fucking
Are
time.
you
But but I felt really good about the fact that like I got her this gift that she'd wanted one since she was a kid, and her parents
Oh.
never would get her one.
Oh.
So I kind of knew she was never going to use it, but
But it
I
was
just felt
more
like I
than
was
that.
closing a loop.
Yeah.
I felt like I was closing a loop of something that she'd like always wanted but never got. So
Yeah.
that probably stands out most in my mind, to be honest.
Oh, that's so great. You know how that freaking house cleaning book, what's it called? The Spiritual Art of Cleaning Up or whatever, talks about how objects sometimes, well, all the time, objects serve a purpose. And
Mm.
sometimes she'll talk about clothes and she says, don't feel bad if you're throwing something out that you've never worn, because the purpose of that item of clothing could have been to give you joy when you picked it out in the store.
Yeah, yeah.
And it's the same with the scooter. It's
Mm-hmm.
okay if she never rode it, but it was, you're right, completing this circle for her, and
Yeah, totally.
it fulfilled her.
Yeah, massively. Yeah.
No,
So that's my one. How about you?
I love that. I think my favorite thing I ever got someone was for my mom. I got her this book that my grandfather, her dad, read while he was away serving in World War II for 3 years. In his
Mm-hmm.
letters, he talks about this book he's reading and how good it is. And he wants my grandma to read it if she gets a chance. And so I researched, dug. I found a first edition of this
Oh my
book
God.
and I got it. And I put inside a photocopy of his letter where he had talked about this book with pictures of my grandparents inside the book for her. And I gave it to
Oh.
her. And my sister and brother and I always have a competition to see who can make my mom cry with their Christmas present. And I definitely won that year.
That's so lovely. I love that. Let's do one more from our listeners. Okay. What are you looking forward to in 2022?
Ooh. I'm looking forward to working as an actress. Looking forward to being on set again.
I'm looking forward to the date February the 11th because that is the date that I set myself a year ago, that I was going to look at my life, look at my grief, look at my process, and start reclaiming my narrative and ask myself, basically, am I ready to move forward? Because in those days when I didn't know how to get from 1 minute to the next, the thought of the future was so terrifying. So my therapist, Jeff, said to me, I want you to pick a date in the future, not too far off, not too close, that you are gonna check in with yourself and ask yourself if you're ready to think about the future and what you want next. And I picked February the 11th. So I'm looking forward to that day and seeing how I feel and what comes up for me on that date.
How exciting. Do you know something special you're going to do? Is there somewhere you'd like to be to do that work?
I don't know yet. I don't know. I think that will just kind of unfold as I go. But yeah, I'm definitely gonna spend the day reflecting and, you know, figuring it out, or making sense of what I already have kind of figured out, or organizing what I've already figured out into some kind of semblance of like, I'll never be the same, but maybe how I used to be able to think about life and planning in the future, and, you know, all of that stuff. So
that's really exciting.
Yes. Yeah.
It's February 11th.
And I might just wake up and go, no, it just popped into my head.
Yeah.
I might just go, I need another year. I'm not ready to think about the future. I don't know. I don't know how I'm going to feel on that day, but
it'll be perfectly fine if that happens.
Yeah, exactly. But that technique really took a massive load off of my mind and like weight off my shoulders, just being like, that's the day. Until then, don't worry about it.
I love that. I'd like to try that for a few things in my life.
It really works. It has really, really worked. And it's important that you let other people know as well, so that they can kind of like respect it a little bit and work with you on it.
Yeah. I think for 2022, I am looking forward to redesigning my structure of how I'm living my life to fit what works for me instead of catering to other people.
Great.
I love that. How I spend my time, with days that I allow myself to rest. Pretty much everything we've been discussing this year on the pod, putting it into action, asking for what I know I'm worth, speaking my mind instead of being so worried about protecting everyone else. Basically just living my best life.
Yes, bitch. Yes, queen. Got it, queen. I love that. All right.
And having fun.
Everyone who's listening, having a fucking good time.
I want to have a blast next year.
Joy. I want to travel. That is the only real thing I know that I want to do, is travel. Of course, during the fucking global pandemic, finally,
focus on my
travel.
I know. Focus on my projects. My word for this new year is completion. So I want to complete cycles, complete projects, and not just let things linger forever like we have the tendency to do, don't we? You know who you are. We really everybody do. We're all guilty of that.
Listeners, we would love for you to have a little think about what you're most looking forward to in 2022.
Yeah,
it's worth a little think. Should we move on to our Christmas quiz questions?
Let's do it.
Okay, I've got one for you. I know you're going to quiz me too.
I am going to quiz you. I'm going to kick your ass.
I am fucking terrible at quizzes, and you couldn't just let me have this. No. You couldn't just let me have this. You had to bring me into it. Like, I can't even do the kids version. I'm so fucking shit at quizzes. So
you've been sitting over there all noble, reading me out the things, delighting in me getting them wrong.
I've got the answers here. It's not like I know the answers myself. I'm looking them up too.
I know, but you're still
Fucking
loving
beach.
having me in the hot seat. So guess what? You're in the hot seat too. Let's go. I'm gonna kick
Okay, well,
your
I'm asking the first
ass.
question.
Okay, go.
You should know this one, okay?
Okay, wait. At the top, we have to, it's gonna be a competition. We're gonna ask each other the same number of questions, and then
Okay.
whoever wins, let's make a bet right now. So whoever the
Okay.
winner, or what does the loser have to do?
I don't know.
The loser
Don't be so
has
American.
to
Why does it have to be a competition?
the loser has to treat the other one to In-N-Out when we are both in California.
Okay, yeah. In-N-Out. Wait, there's one that I like more than that. But
Oh,
you can
okay.
have In-N-Out and I'll have fuck, what's the one that I really like? Oh, Chick-fil-A.
Ew, you freak.
Yeah, I love it. I love it. I love it.
All right.
Okay. First question. And we're gonna do 3 each.
Okay.
Okay.
And then we're gonna enter the lightning round if needed.
No, we're not having a lightning round. Oh, what if there's a draw? Fucking. Or we just buy each other. The draw is that we just buy each other the food. Okay. What gift did Harry Potter receive from the Dursleys during his first Christmas at Hogwarts?
A knitted sweater, duh.
A 50p piece.
Shit. No.
You've just read this book, you dingleberry. Okay, your turn. You're gonna absolutely
It
spank
took
me.
me a year and a half to get through them. I wouldn't say I just read the first one. That was like 2 years ago. It took me so long to read the Harry Potters. Okay. Here is my question. Okay. How many ghosts show up in A Christmas Carol?
Isn't it? This is a trick question, isn't it?
No, it's not.
Because it's like the ghost of Christmas past, the
Right.
ghost of Christmas present, and the ghost of the future.
Right.
But then there's those 2 bank ghosts.
Fake ghosts. What the fuck?
And they've got the chains, and they're like,
are you sure
the
O'Malley's
brothers or whatever.
The Marley
Maybe
brothers?
it's just
what
one.
the fuck story are you watching? What's your answer? How many ghosts show up in A Christmas Carol?
4.
You got it, you bitch. I hate you. It's not the Marley brothers. It's just Jacob Marley. And yes, he has chains.
Why did I say the Marley brothers? Because he's all. I've seen
brothers.
I was a Christmas Muppets Christmas Carol. That's the only one I've seen. Maybe they were brothers in the Christmas
Bank
Carol.
Ghosts. Oh my god. Okay, what's next? Damn it! So far, Annabel's winning by 1. Okay.
This is a good one. This is a good one. I like this one. Wait, where's it gone? Fuck. Oh, which popular holiday plant is known to be an aphrodisiac?
Oh shit! What? An aphrodisiac? What's a holiday plant that you can? Oh, fucking mistletoe!
Yes.
I was thinking something you eat.
No, I know. I immediately would have thought that too. Yes. Okay. Yes. It's 1-1. Okay, next question from you.
We're tied. Okay. Your next question is. Oh man, this is too easy. In the movie It's a Wonderful Life, what happened every time a bell rang?
Oh God. Is it like he gets transported to another place? He's like a ghost and he gets moved to he's like ping! He's like in another room or in another place. No. Fuck, what is it?
In the movie,
somebody dies
It's a Wonderful Life. What happens every time a bell rings?
So the ghost doesn't just get transported into another place every time. Is there a ghost?
Kind of. Every
What
time
happens?
a bell rings, an angel gets his wings.
Okay, so someone dies.
No, Annabelle.
Oh, how does an angel get his wings then?
Listen.
You don't know that bit. Okay. Okay, moving
Not
on.
everything's about death at the holidays, okay? It says, don't you remember that iconic line?
No,
No.
that movie was so sad. I found it so sad. And my mum used to make us watch it every year. I was like, bitch, why are you doing this to us?
It's not sad. Well, I understand what you mean, but it's a happy ending.
I know, but it's too much sadness
Problem.
before.
All right, we're even. I've lost a round, you've lost a round. Okay, this is
good.
The
this is a good one.
Deal breaker.
Fuck, I literally don't have a read on whether you're gonna know this or not.
Oh man.
What Christmas song? No. What popular Christmas song was actually written for Thanksgiving?
Oh, I hate you.
I know, I would never have guessed it even myself.
Oh, great. What popular Christmas song was actually written for Thanksgiving? Oh God. I'm just gonna take a shot in the dark here. Don't tell me. I'll be home for no, forget I said that.
No, that's not your answer.
Ode to Joy. Wait, no, that's a Beethoven song. Stop it. Stop it.
You got one more. You got one more.
No.
Come on, use your noggin.
Oh.
Think about popular ones.
Okay.
Not fucking Beethoven.
White Christmas. No, what? No.
Bitch.
No. What is it?
Jingle bells.
What? No.
Yeah, because think about it. It doesn't really talk about Christmas. It talks about the season. Makes a lot of sense. Love that you said every single one that was like the most Christmas.
Fucking jingle bells.
Oh, that's
Damn
funny.
It.
Okay, is this my last question now?
Yes. Which country started the tradition of putting up a Christmas tree?
I'm not going to let you ask me this. I'm going to do the right thing. I asked you this, so I already know the answer.
But then it's a different answer because I never remembered this.
That doesn't mean it didn't happen, babe. You got to ask me a different question.
What is it then, if you're so smart?
Well, I've got the answer right here.
Well, I feel like it was different. Okay. Jesus. What was Frosty the Snowman's nose made out of? Why is your arm doing that? What are you? She's doing a little jig. Are you trying to recall the lyrics? Why don't you sing them out loud for everyone?
Call.
Yes. No.
No, with a button eye. No, with a button nose and two eyes made out of coal.
Coal.
Clay.
What? What was Frosty the Snowman's nose made out of, you crazy person?
With a button nose and two eyes made out of
You keep saying it.
What is it then?
You just said it.
It's button.
Yes. You said coal though.
So yeah, but because I was getting confused with the eyes, with two eyes made out of coal and the
that
button.
was your first answer. You guys, she definitely got it wrong, and now she's trying to pretend like she got it right.
No.
It's a Christmas cheat.
Okay, it's a draw. So now what has to happen is we're both going to go to Chick-fil-A and we're both going to go to In-N-Out Burger, and you'll pay for Chick-fil-A and I'll pay for In-N-Out Burger.
I love that instead of asking more questions, you're just ready to just treat each other. All right. That's pretty funny. I love it.
All right, miss. Well, you have a good Christmas.
Happy Christmas, Annabel. What a year it's been.
Merry
Thank you for
Merry
being my
Christmas.
partner in crime this beautiful, painfully brilliant year.
Really held on.
You really talk a lot. You really know how to talk a lot. That's all I have to say.
So do you, bitch.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's been a great year. Thanks everybody for tuning in every week. It's been so fun. We love it. You guys keep us honest. It's our privilege to bring you the most up-to-date factual news available to the planet. Next week, we're not going to have an episode. We're going to take a break. We hope that you will understand that we've recorded every week for over a year and we just need a little break.
Yes. You take a break too.
So Merry Christmas. Yeah, exactly. Don't fucking go and find somebody else's podcast that you like more than you. But
yeah, don't cheat on us. No cheating.
But if you do want some recommendations of other podcasts to listen to,
no,
I would suggest. Oh, okay.
Just go outside, go for a walk. We'll see you after the new year and we will reconvene.
Okay. Merry Christmas. Happy New Year.
Merry Christmas, Annabelle. I hope all your Christmas wishes come true. And I love you very much.
I love you too. Merry Christmas.
Merry
Goodbye.
Christmas.
Love you.
Love you.